This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and my guest today is a good friend of the show. He's been on with us before, a couple of times, in fact. It is Paul Unmack from Fridge Defend. Hey, Paul, how are you? How you been?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, it's good to see you again. It's been some time, and I know you're always traveling. You're a busy man going from here to there. And but we managed to catch up with you today, and while you're sort of at HQ, right, at your headquarters. And what's the latest? First of all, how you been? You faring well through all this craziness we've been dealing with the last couple years?
Well, actually, we've been doing quite well. Our business, as you know, the RV industry has really taken off with COVID, and so is our business. The RVers are very aware people.
They certainly are. For folks that might just be learning who you are and what Fridge Defend is for the first time, why don't you share a little bit about what it is Fridge Defend does?
Well, let's go way back in time. I've been RVing since I was born, and we would go down into the depths of Baja California and Mexico, and we relied on our refrigerators. And I found that our first refrigerator lasted 35 years, and that there was control system problems with the refrigerators. So we developed a product called the Fridge Defend, which helps prevent the Dometic and Norcold type absorption refrigerators from failing. So that's what our product is. It's a failure prevention and safety product because failures results in fires.
Absolutely. And also, refrigerators, an absolute necessity on the road when you're traveling in an RV, and keeping the food at the proper temperature, and maybe a cold beverage and everything else that you need. That's an important service to provide, Fridge Defend. And it's a very, very interesting. I want to, again, for folks just learning about this, we want to really find out about your background. We'll do that on the other side of the break. I want to learn how you learned all about this, because it's an interesting story. My guest is Paul Unmack from Fridge Defend. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. We'll return in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Here are 5 words every RV enthusiast should know: advocacy, community, education, resources, rewards. That's what the RV Advisor was built on, along with protecting your rights. Visit thervadvisor.com.
We continue now with our guest, Paul Unmack, right here on the RV Advisor Podcast. And Paul, you're talking about Fridge Defend and everything it provides for folks on the road, and how to help their refrigerators stay intact and safe and efficient. You told me in the break that Fridge Defend got off the ground around 2014. So it's been several years now, 8 years to be exact. But your history with engineering and everything goes back a little further than that, doesn't it?
It goes way back. The interesting point, I said that I RV'd since I was born. My father is a nuclear control systems engineer. And ironically, I destroyed our 35-year-old refrigerator by dealing with a road emergency by helping somebody fix a flat tire and parking my rig off level. So coming from a family of engineers, especially being a control systems engineer, I suffered at the hands of my family for destroying our family heirloom.
Ah, I see. So this is your penance, right? I mean, this is what you've done really to rectify that situation. You now help everybody out and not let the same thing happen to them, right?
That's absolutely correct. And around the year 2003, I started instrumenting these refrigerators, and I came to find in pretty quick uh, uh, testing sequence that the boiler of the refrigerator not only drives the entire refrigeration process, it also overheats when the refrigerator is off level. And so actually the control solution was a quite simple solution, and which made it easy for us to get a patent, because complex things are hard to patent and this was easy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know we've had folks on talk about patents and the patent process, and it is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Um, what fascinates me is balance. Something that's situated on a very even, flat surface, and how that is an important ingredient into getting optimum efficiency out of whatever it might be. And a refrigerator is no different. The level, it has to be level. And people might not think, oh well, if it's a little off, it's no big deal, but it is a big deal.
It's a huge deal, and unfortunately, it's not appreciated as much as it should be, because when you purchase a refrigerator in an RV, you would assume that it can do anything the RV can do. But we live in an unlevel world, and some people might find it interesting that we're not on a flat world at all. As a matter of fact, when you're driving up a mountain grade, your refrigerator actually can overheat just climbing a long, steep grade. And it's popular culture, you might say, that folks believe that during driving that the boiler will not overheat. And that's just not true.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fascinating. What if you had to say what the for us lay people here, in the most basic of terms, what is the reason? Is that it puts more pressure on the end on the motors when it's at an incline or a decline or whatever, not level surface? What is it that gets it to overheat specifically, if you can?
Well, it is. I'll try to simplify a very complex process as much as possible,
Yeah.
and that is, you mentioned that things like to be level, and the absorption refrigerator has sloping tubing. Actually, this is a cooling unit right behind me here, and if the tubing does not slope properly, gravity can't get the fluids to come back to the boiler. And if the fluids don't come back to the boiler overheats.
So
So
what did
it's
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Continue.
well, it's critical that the boiler doesn't overheat. And the reason it's critical is that there's a corrosion preventive agent within the refrigerator. And when the boiler overheats, it destroys that. So what happens is the cooling unit fails from the inside out, and when it ruptures, it can cause a fire.
That's fascinating. And briefly, how does Fridge defend this situation?
It simply monitors the boiler temperature, and it knows when the boiler is getting too hot, and it will turn it off and automatically restart it when it's possible to safely restart.
That's great. That is great. Why don't you let folks know where they can go to learn more about your service, your products, everything at Fridge Defend?
Our website is arprv.com. So you can either Google that, or you can Google Fridge Defend.
Okay, wonderful. Paul, we really appreciate you coming on and joining us. It's great to talk to you again. Good to see that you're busy, doing well, and always kind of looking out for us. We appreciate that. It's a great thing that you provide there at Fridge Defend, and would love to have you back on again.
Well, thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to our next meeting.
As are we. There he is, Paul Unmack from Fridge Defend, and you can find him at arprv.com. And that is where Fridge Defend resides. We will be back to wrap things up right after these words.
The rights of the RV enthusiast are important. That's why the RV Advisor has built a nationwide network of RV owners, empowering you with advice you can trust. Visit thervadvisor.com.
Back on the RV Advisor podcast, and we are joined by our guest coordinator. Great to see you, Neve. It is Neve Carizzacco. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Tom. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you very much. And I know you've been busy around the clock with lots of stuff, trying to, wrangle some guests and folks that come on the show. Today we had Paul Unmack, and that was a fun conversation with Paul. And I know that you've, sometimes we kind of put it in the rear view a little bit with COVID. Things are improving, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of folks out there that are working, close, very close to the situation, nurses and stuff that are using RVs, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. I put out feelers with multiple groups, we'll say, on Instagram, to get them on our podcast and learn more about their story and life on the road. And a lot of the people I've been hitting on lately are people that are nurses, travel nurses in particular. And yeah, as you said, it is something that is not talked about as frequently anymore, COVID. But it is still very much active in different states, in different areas. And there's a lot of people that are, set to come on the show here in the next few weeks that are travel nurses that live in RVs. So they will be in Texas for 2 or 3 months, doing a travel contract, staying in their RV. Some of them are couples and are lucky enough to be in the same hospital, which is wonderful. And then they move on to whatever other state is in need at that time. So just an all-around great opportunity, we'll say, to use your RV, travel, and get paid to work at the same time. So it's been fun learning from them. It's also a very difficult time for them. They are, weeks and months in really, really rough situations as far as the department they're in, which is COVID, a COVID unit. They do sadly see a lot of death and sadness still, which is terrible. So my heart goes out to them, and thank you for all of their service, for everyone that we've talked to so far, and for the people that we will get on in the next few weeks. We have just the utmost respect and gratitude for them. So yeah, you're going to hear from them. You're going to have some more on in the next few days and weeks. So yeah, it'll just be interesting to hear some more on that side of things. The not so fun side, we could say, of RVing, but again, just a different realm. And we like to hit on all the different realms that RVs and the recreational lifestyle can, accommodate. So it's cool to hear, for sure.
It sure is, and a very necessary function of the RV world. Well, Neve, we really appreciate it. It's always great to see you. And I know that sometimes you're so busy that you can't always catch up with us, but when you do, we look forward to it. So
it's definitely tough juggling the 3 kids now, I won't lie.
Yeah, and 3 kids on top of it all. So that's you've got your more than a full plate.
I'm about to jump in an RV myself, Tom.
Hey, listen, as long as you let me ride cargo or coach or whatever underneath, just bring me along. All right.
Deal.
Well, listen, thanks, Neve, and we'll catch you again very soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, folks. There she is, Neve Carey Zacco, our guest coordinator. And we'll see you next time right here on the RV Advisor podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Safe travels. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy this video? Be sure to like, comment, and share, and hit the bell icon. Remember, ding ding, so that you're notified when new videos are uploaded. As always, don't forget to subscribe.